Okay, welcome to Neverending Realm, neverendingrealm.com. My name is Mount Cessna, and this is Samuel Rivera, and we're gonna be running through some of the hot RPG, JRPG, and gaming news.
Yes.
So, what do you think the
we,
biggest?
we have a friend here.
Oh, Sonic.
We have Sonic.
Yeah.
Yes, the
I
classic
heard.
Sonic.
Yeah, it's probably the best video game movie ever made.
That you might have a point there. That might not be saying much, but it is actually true.
Yeah,
Yes, we haven't done this for a while, Mont.
yeah, I know. I know
It-
the fans of the page probably are. Well, not really. They probably are like, oh, well, good. Now I don't see those guys again. But
yes, but we are hard to kill. We are hard to kill.
yeah.
So,
So, what do you think the biggest gaming news this week is?
well, well, not this week, but Forza Horizon came out. Forza Horizon 5. That's a big
Yeah.
Microsoft first party launch, and I actually was able to play a little bit of it today.
Oh, how does it look?
Oh, it looks amazing on Series X. You can play it in quality mode, which is 30 frames per second, but it is 4K and it has all the packs on, and then you can play at 60 frames per second on the. But then there's
cool.
like dynamic resolution, and some of the stuff is cut back. But
Yeah.
but it's actually it has actually gotten me more excited about Fable.
Yeah.
Than it does about the actual racing game. But because Fable is going to look amazing if it's running on that.
Yeah,
engine.
because just for people listening, the new Fable game is using the Forza Horizon engine.
The
And
Forza engine,
Peter, how do you say his last name? Peter Mollix?
Molyneux or something. It's like French, isn't it? French Canadian or something. It's like,
It's a French name. It's weird pronunciation to us English speakers. But he's not involved at all, and neither is the old studio. It's a completely different studios working on this, so definitely has the potential.
I think Playground Games has the potential to be Microsoft's Naughty Dog. I think they're that good. So
yeah,
let's hope they do keep the humor and all this the character that Fable always had. I mean, the only bad thing about Molyneux, whatever his name is that he used to overpromise stuff, and he wouldn't deliver.
Yeah, he actually has a pretty long history of that. There's some if you YouTube search his name and then lies, you'll get quite a few hits of just compilations of his lies.
I mean there's like a Twitter fan page made just for him, so that they make up funny promises that are going to be in games. And,
yes.
Well, but we had Cyberpunk. And it can't be any worse than that. So. Yep.
Yeah. No word yet, except next year is when the Series X and PS5 versions of that game will come out, which was the most anticipated RPG of this year.
Last year actually, but
last year.
You mean the next gen version?
Yeah.
The next gen version. Yeah. Everybody thought it was going to come out.
But that was supposed to be out in like February or March at the latest.
Yeah.
And now, so we'll see. We'll see here.
But that's I think they might actually be taking it serious this time. Making sure that it is actually, because I think this is the last chance they have. On that franchise to make it good and to
if they want to move those 30 50 million units, they gotta pull out the stops on the Series X version
and the PlayStation 5. So I think they're going to take as long as they need to. I don't think they want another fiasco like that, and hopefully they fix
because they're really under a microscope now. Any problems in Series X or PS5 version, everyone's going to be screaming.
There was no excuse the first time, but there will be even less of an excuse this time for them to mess up. But that's what it is. And I guess this week, there doesn't seem to be a lot. Halo Infinite, there's a trailer of the campaign that came out, and I don't know, what do you think about that? Did you see it? Did you saw it?
Oh, there's a new trailer. No, I haven't watched it yet. Put a link
Yes,
to it.
is a campaign. It looks better now. It looks good.
Yeah, I did see some screenshots of Craig the Brute. Craig the Brute is all grown up now and looks like a proper Brute from Halo 2.
Yeah, they really worked on that. It doesn't look like, like great, but it looks a lot better than it did the first time. And
well, it is cross-platform as well because it'll run on the base Xbox One.
Yeah, that's kind of that's holding games back. But also it's open world this time, so that might.
Well, they one of the people said, one of the developers said, "Hey, we're not saying this is an open world game because I don't want people to be upset." He said there's lots of places to explore, but he went to say that it's still a first-person shooter campaign. He said he wouldn't classify it as a full open world game. So, but there is a lot more options and places, larger maps, things like that.
Do you think it'll be like Gears 5? Gears 5 was
probably, yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't call that like necessarily an open world game, even though it does have a large world where you can kind of walk around it.
And you could do some side objectives and stuff, I guess.
Because you will be able to upgrade your equipment in Halo 5 or Halo Infinite in the campaign.
Yeah.
So you will kind of have. Then we'll have to say, is Halo Infinite an RPG? If you're upgrading your equipment,
that's actually been a big topic on our side and on the JRPG group. And we actually have had a big influence on Google, on the Google search.
Oh, yeah, we'll put that up here on the screen. Actually, I posted this on the Ultima JRPG group as well, and I said, mocking, and I said, "Oh, Zelda isn't a JRPG," and then I put a screenshot of it for the first result, and people are saying it was an A+ troll and things like that.
I see.
They said, "You put in the hard work. You have actually changed the Google result just to be able to say this." But I mean, there was your article. It was a good article.
We're in agreement here. I mean, I don't understand why, and I guess we could use that as a heading here for this podcast, so we get clicks. But I don't understand why Zelda is not an RPG, because people, even Miyamoto back in the 90s, and there's a press clipping on the actual article that shows that Miyamoto called it an action RPG / action adventure. So it's not. Which
Nintendo does list for the majority of the titles on the website. If you buy them through the Switch shop.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time it says Ocarina of, funny enough, Breath of the Wild has even more RPG elements than typical RPG elements than Ocarina of Time does. And that one is the one that people use to say, "Oh no, Nintendo says it's an action adventure." But Ocarina of Time is listed as a role playing game on their site, on their eShop site. So, I mean, it has everything. It has, you role play a silent character, which is not the point. You progress, you grow your character. You can get, even in Ocarina of Time, you had weapons that you could upgrade, because you could upgrade your quiver. You could upgrade your sword. You can undertake like a major side quest to get the big Goron sword. Your character got stronger. You got a stronger shield. You got all this stuff. You were a lot stronger at the end of the game than you were at the beginning of the game, and you even could learn spells. Some of them were you didn't even have to get them if you don't want to. So it's just different.
Yeah,
different type of progression.
Yeah.
And the heart is HP. It's just you don't see the numbers, but you're getting a higher HP. It's the algorithm's still there. You have a higher life bar. It's just a different type of progression. But that Alundra,
it's not the numerical Dungeons and Dragons style progression that really older RPGs really focused on.
Yeah, but if you tell people Alundra, right? Alundra and Brave Fencer Musashi, they will say, "Oh yeah, that's a JRPG, it's an action RPG." Alundra is a freaking clone of Zelda. It's the same thing as it's a clone of A Link to the Past. So What are we talking about? Why is Zelda not a JRPG? I don't understand. Like, it is an action RPG, action adventure, but because it is an action RPG and it was made in Japan, that is important. That is key here. It was made in Japan. It is a JRPG. It's not science. It's not rocket science. It's not.
Well, yeah, there's two arguments basically. Zelda
And so is
being
Dark Souls. And so is Dark Souls.
And if Zelda is, yeah, which interestingly enough, we also are on the first page result of that. If you Google "is Dark Souls a JRPG," our article also comes up on the first page.
Yeah.
So obviously we are the experts here, and we're just quoting, classic game magazines and the journalists that came before us.
Exactly. Yeah. No, like then I read a comment the other day that this is a new thing. People calling Zelda an RPG is a new thing. No, it's not a new thing. It's been called an RPG for like 30 years now. Magazines, when Ocarina of Time was going to come out, every magazine pretty much called it a role-playing game, an action role-playing game. And in fact, it was like the only savior for Nintendo 64 owners who wanted a good role-playing game experience because everything else kind of sucked before that.
Yeah, I guess Quest 64 left a lot to be desired, and there was what is the other one? Aiden Chronicles.
Yeah. They had some good, they did some good things, but they were not classics by any stretch of the imagination. Like, they had their, you play Quest, we play Quest in the Let's Play, and it was a very big world, but a very empty world, and a lot of random battling, and, the story was crappy. It's just, the ending is terrible. It's just, yeah.
It was like the 90s, late 90s.
No, but I love the 90s. Let's not talk about the 90s. The 90s are the 90s. Everything else is crap.
90s. Well, speaking of a game that almost came out in the 90s, not quite, but so The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Oh, yeah.
Anniversary edition is out, and actually, I own the disc. Actually, no, I gave the disc to someone. With an old 360 I had, because I had two 360s for a while. So I know I'm ashamed. I gave away my Skyrim. But then, hold on. I bought a digital copy. Right?
Oh, you bought yeah.
Yes, and now when you open it up, this little thing that pops up, and it says, would you like to upgrade to the anniversary? Because I have the special edition. It's the one I bought online this year. So now it's $18 to upgrade from the special edition to the anniversary edition.
Let me tell you, Mom, the best $18 that you could spend.
I know. I was actually looking at it today, and I was like pondering. I had my finger over the button to buy it, and maybe I'll do that later tonight because they've added in like the fishing and some other things, and then the 60 frames a second and stuff was still kind of messed up. A little bit. It didn't seem as natural in the special edition when you turned it on. And I'm assuming that everything's perfectly polished. I might have to do a live stream of me playing it this weekend a little bit.
That would be good because I haven't tried that yet. So I'm going to have to try it this week.
Yeah.
I mean, because I want to see if there's any major improvement in terms of graphics. But it is Bethesda. Yeah. I don't expect them to go the extra mile because
put in much work. Yeah, they're just like, I mean, they really know at this point. They're just like, Mott, we need some money. Can you give us money, Mott? And I'm like,
here's Skyrim again for like the 10th.
It's like I don't want to. I'm just gonna stop talking now before I offend people with what I was gonna say next.
But people are complaining on our side that as long as we keep supporting Skyrim on our site, Bethesda's gonna keep milking it. And yes, I'm guilty as charged. I mean, I bought like 5 editions of it now, and I'll probably buy this new edition again. So
I know I bought 2 copies now, and this is almost as bad because now I have 2 copies of Oblivion as well. But the new copy of Oblivion I forgot because it's the new copy. I can't find my old map, and the new copies of Oblivion don't come with the map.
Oh,
the bastards took out the map.
Bastards!
I know they took out the map. I just want to. I can punch my computer. Yes.
You know, but at least Oblivion. I mean, Oblivion, Skyrim. I remember I did the opening of the Xbox version like a few months ago. It still has a map. I mean, like like cheap paper, but it does have a map. So at least they did that right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turned 10. I mean, and it will it turn 15 before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out? I mean,
that is actually a possibility now that more of a, because they just started really working on it. It's not like they've been working on it this whole time.
yeah, it will be funny if we're here 5 years from now. We're like, oh, the anniversary edition 2.0 is out, and
What's that?
$20 more.
You hear that loud noise? The shrieking noise?
Oh yes, there's a cricket.
Oh
Damn,
God, it's
cricket.
loud. It's very loud.
Damn it. Yes, I don't know how he got in. Jesus Christ. But is it? It's gone now. Okay.
Oh yes.
It is inside. It is in the room. So it might scream again, but I kicked it, I think. Either way.
Yeah. I noticed. An article that you had. An article that you had written recently was the Xeno Games creator. What's his name? Tetsuya Takahashi, the guy who created the Xeno series.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he's talking about how RPG heroes, and obviously it's two Japanese guys speaking in the interview, often end up being disliked. So I guess the question I have for our listeners is, and you can comment on the video, and we'll talk about this a little bit in the next video, is what RPG or JPRG character do you just hate? I mean, who do you despise most?
Don't say Titus or Tidus, whatever his name is.
Oh God, that's a whole other argument on the JRPG fans only group.
Yes,
someone who's like saying like, "Don't mansplain to me how to say Titus. I know it's Titus, not Titus." It's like, oh God, I don't even want to.
Hey, I always call him Titus. I don't know. People call him Tidus. I don't know. That's weird. It feels weird.
It's because they called him Tidus in one scene that's supposed to be not canon in Kingdom Hearts 1. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, they went calling him Titus.
I mean, it's a T and an I in the name, so it feels like Titus. Like it. Well, but either way, yes.
I mean, Molinix might have an argument though too. I mean, he's but that is French, which is written in Roman or Latin script. It's not like Japanese. I mean, they kind of have to get it right, and
I don't know. I feel that
obliterate it. I
mean, in my opinion, just food for thought. My most hated character on a famous RPG is probably Squall from Final Fantasy VIII.
Well,
I hated the bastard.
Oh,
should have died in outer space.
Poor Squall.
He was just a badly written character. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Like there was no redeeming quality.
Maybe my least favorite character, and might get a lot of hate for this, would be Barrett.
Oh, don't. Oh, Barrett.
I think Barrett. I mean, he's just like such a stereotypical, like borderline offensive character in the original Final Fantasy VII. And he does a lot of irrational things.
Yeah, he got better on the.
Well, actually, no, I have to take that back.
He got better on the remake.
Catsup is
very stupid because he doesn't even make sense. And his existence doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. Like
it was such a convoluted part, and then that whole thing with the bugging of the Shinra with them, that like none of it made sense. That whole section there seemed like it wasn't well written, like fit together into the story. Feels like there was like maybe cut content and editing.
Yeah, and even if you're gonna be, I mean, what the hell is Final Fantasy? But even in real, if you're gonna be like, would you let? It's like if you're on a world-saving quest and shit. Sorry about that. You can bleep it. Would you let a stuffed animal robots join you who in the quest.
And then they're so quick to forgive him too after his treachery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but that's then again, that's just bad writing in the 90s, which is weird to say because Final Fantasy VII was like the RPG that brought games into the
That actually had
storytelling.
some writing, yeah.
Yeah,
Writing.
but yeah, that didn't make sense. Barrett, I think the problem was that they made him curse like in every single line with him. He was cursing, and yeah, even just going into a train like a regular train with people with a turret, like gun arm, and it was just so out of place. Like they were trying to be stealthy, I guess.
Well, okay, now this is going to make some people mad. I thought he was kind of, what came out first? Mortal Kombat 2.
You mean Annihilation?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, the film. No, I actually always thought that Barrett was sort of like inspired on Mr. T. Like on the 18, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many of our readers, if they're young, they're going to remember the original 18. But then they made him like he would curse every other line, and I mean that the whole thing was messed up because
the pity the fool, but that was funny with Mr. T and Murdoch, their little back and forth.
But I think they might have been aiming for something like that. And then again, the translation was not exactly the best. Either.
Not Jax. Maybe he's like a combination of Jax from Mortal Kombat Annihilation or Mortal Kombat 2.
And the funny thing is that Jax in the original movie was very like a very serious sort of army guy in the first movie. He only had like 10 seconds of screen time, but then they made him more larger than life in the second movie. But the second movie was also just badly written overall. I mean,
I've watched it like 20 or 30 times, and I still could not tell you what the real plot is or what was going on.
It was like fight scene. It was fight scene to fight scene to fight scene to fight scene to fight scene, and then that was it. That's what the second movie was about.
Yeah.
The first movie was actually pretty good. I still think it might actually give Sonic a run for its money as in the best video game movie.
I don't know about that, but
you don't think so? The first Mortal Kombat.
I don't know about that.
Well, but you have to admit that it was better than Street Fighter.
Okay, that's a really low bar. Okay. Actually, I did not realize it until last year when I was reading that people said that it was like supposed to be a serious movie. I thought the whole thing was just a parody. People were trying to claim that they were making it like they were all serious actors making a serious movie.
I mean, it was a real. It had like really good actors. Like it had that guy who won the Oscar. Was it Raul Julia?
Yeah,
that was his final movie. That's how he ended up his career. I mean,
the Van Damme. Those the two comic relief guys have been in tons of movies. The Ken and Ryu. There's a lot of big names. They were not big names, but familiar faces. And
the Van Damme has been relegated now to like a B list or C or even a C.
I don't know if he ever was A.
I mean, in the 90s, in the early 90s, he was big. Kickboxer was a huge movie. I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the 80s? Was it the 80s?
Yeah, that was the 80s. I think.
Yeah, martial arts movies just fell off the map after after the Matrix.
Action movies are definitely very different now than they were back then.
Yeah, the wire work and all that crap ruined it. The Matrix, I mean, if Keanu Reeves could throw like a flying kick with the 8 wires, any idiot can. So it is what it is. Yeah,
I was actually, and I might get some hate for this. I was earlier today. I tried watching the newest Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music, and. Yeah, I've only got 15 minutes in, and I had to turn it off because it was.
Oh, see.
I really enjoyed the original too.
So was that like a reboot or is that the?
No, it's like a sequel to the first two. But
I hate reboots.
Reboots. I'll try to stomach through it, but I don't know. It seems like, I mean, the original movies were campy and low budget, but this seems like less care was put into it, which is disappointing.
I don't know. I haven't seen a good movie since like. You know what? Actually, the Apple TV has a good movie with what's his name? The guy who made Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah,
it came out this week. It's pretty good. I saw the Black Widow.
I saw some commercials for it.
The Black Widow was okay. Just Marvel. I'm getting actually tired of the Marvel movies at this point.
It's like this. I don't know. I'm just gonna say the only superhero movies I really liked, besides like obviously Superman when I was a little kid and like Batman when I was a little kid. For the newer stuff, the only good superhero movies I've seen were Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Those movies were so much better than any of this Marvel movie crap we get now, in my opinion.
But what about the Christopher Nolan Batmans?
Those were pretty good. I thought everything kind of fell apart with the third one with Bane. I thought that was that movie was kind of just bad. All around.
But it was hard to follow up Heath Ledger's Joker. It was very.
That's.
It was a hard follow up to follow up that.
But now we're starting to go pretty long here, and we're starting to stray from.
Hey, now we have Robert Pattinson going for Batman, so you know.
Oh God, no.
But actually, I do like him actually as an actor. See, people think Twilight. People immediately think Twilight, and they kind of just.
Yes, like, that's all I've ever seen him in.
No, but he's done some movies that he can act. He's not Taylor Lautner. He's not the other guy. Taylor Lautner can act for shit, but Robert Pattinson acts well. He's a good actor, so I actually think he's gonna do good. I think he's gonna be good. I have high expectations for that.
Okay, well, I guess the last little bit of kind of RPG, JRPG news is the Shin Megami Tensei 5, if I said that correctly. SMT5 is out now. People started receiving their copies. And so I'm thinking about picking up a copy myself. Never really been a fan of the Persona series. So I was thinking about picking up a copy. We'll see here. But if you have a copy, leave us the comments below and let us know what you think of it so far. It's only two of us. We can't play every RPG or JRPG that comes out.
The last JRPG that I played was Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
And there's a review on the page, so it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It was actually a good entry in the series.
I'm actually right now. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm playing that Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
The Void Heart edition. I'm playing it on Xbox, which it got 9s across the board on Switch. It's a little different with the controller. The big Xbox, so I actually had the Elite 2 controller. But so far, it's definitely a good game. Not quite a traditional RPG in the sense of, basically enemies drop money. It's kind of a Metroidvania. Enemies drop money. You can use the money to buy basically hearts, kind of like in Zelda and things like that. So, so the grinding aspect is really simplified, but it's a lot of lore, and it's the music's good, the art's great, even though it's only 2D, and I'm really enjoying it. It's I started a lot of games, but when a game really hooks me, I end up just playing it every day till I'm done with it. And this seems to be one of those games.
I noticed there's a couple of indie games that are really, really good. They're like that will classify, right? Hollow Knight is an indie game.
Yeah, that would be an indie game. Yeah.
Because you know what, they're not trying to make it for the mainstream. That maybe it's hardcore people.
It's pretty hard. If you don't like action RPGs or Metroidvanias, you're gonna have a little bit of a difficult time getting used to it. But it's fun and it's not too difficult. I haven't thrown my controller yet, but sometimes I just have to turn it off and go to bed. But yeah.
But but those games are good. But the last indie game I played was probably Bastion.
Oh, okay.
The Bastion. That's an RPG, but it was actually pretty good. Yeah, that would be it. Is there any other news that this week?
Not really. I guess though the biggest question that's going to be for the rest of the year is, will there be PS5s and Xbox Series X's in stock for people for Christmas? Believe it or not, it's almost Thanksgiving, and Black Friday is right around the corner, and I don't think there's going to be any consoles in stores.
When I did the video, the opening of the Series X, I said that they should have been, consoles should be arriving soon, more often, but I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I've been to Walmart like 2,000 times after that, and I have yet to see another Series X on shelves. I've seen Series S. There's a lot of Series S's. On shelves.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
But I haven't seen another Series X, and I never seen a PlayStation 5. Obviously, I'm in Puerto Rico, where Sony sort of sells really well, so it's very difficult. But I never seen a PS5. That's like a unicorn almost. And
no, I go to Walmart about once a week, and I've never seen a Series X or PS5 ever.
I only got lucky the one time that I went. That's the only time that I ever saw a Series X. There was only like two or three left, and that was it. No more.
Yeah.
But Microsoft said,
you have one. Congratulations. It looks like a lot of people though are just going to be. A lot of kids are going to be disappointed this holiday season, unfortunately.
But it's supposed to last all the way through 2023. Actually. That's what I read from some. Yep, even the new Switch, the OLED Switch is gonna be in short supply. So,
oh god,
I assume this Christmas is gonna be like a very empty Christmas in terms of systems.
Yes,
like you say, but this also brings the other problem. Have we ever been in a console generation like this, where there's no real next generation game yet, or now current generation game yet? Everything is cross-gen because games are so expensive to make, and everybody has a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One.
Yeah,
so
and
developers
right now it doesn't make sense right now. There's not enough consoles out there, PS5 and Xbox Series X, to make a big AAA game and not have it cross-platform or cross-generation.
But we never seen this before. Like this never happened. Well, we never had a pandemic before either. So. But but it is very strange. It's very strange. It's going to be a very strange generation, because what happens if this does reach some sort of normalcy by 2023? At that point, consoles would have been out for 3 years. Yeah. So basically,
what is there going to be a refresh then? By the time when
exactly that's what I wonder if this is just going to be artificially extended. Like this generation is going to last like 8 or 9 years, because almost no one has a console. So we're still not getting games that take advantage of the Series X or the PlayStation 5. So by the time we do, it might not even make sense to make a new system at that point. But the problem is that PC keeps getting better though. Like you still
can't find graphics cards though unless you're willing to pay a lot.
But PC is going to keep, like 3 years from now, you're still going to get a lot of better cards on PC. So that might be an issue. I don't know. Nintendo said that the Switch is actually at the halfway point of its lifetime, so it means that we're probably going to get another Switch in 2024 or 25. So that's pretty far off, because people were expecting it before then, but it is far off, and they're selling really well too. So, but yeah, this is very strange. We should make a topic of this in another maybe live podcast, so people can just comment in and because this is a very strange generation. I've never seen anything like it. Like even before there was always a game that was like next gen that would sell you into the system, but we haven't seen anything. Even Sony, God of War and Horizon Forbidden West, they're going to be cross-gen. So,
yeah,
it's weird. It's been a weird generation. I've never seen anything like this happen.
indeed. Well, we're at the 35-minute mark. I guess we should wrap it up. Yeah, thanks for talking, Sam. And guys, make sure you visit neverendingrealm.com.
Yep. See you next week, hopefully.
All right. Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
See you, Sam. Bye.